What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the ProtoART, and happy holidays. Hopefully everyone's being safe out there, wearing your mask, staying indoors, washing your hands, and being thoughtful of others' health. I wanted to put out some free brushes for you guys for the holidays, so I have 5 free brushes I have for you guys in this little Christmas pack. So I'm going to kind of explain how I would use them, and without further ado, let's dive right into it. Here you go. So, diving right into Procreate, I have a quick little drawing done here. This little goofy looking guy. I would have my layout something like this. I'd have a line layer. I call it a reference layer or line art layer, whatever you want to call it. I'll just rename this now. Call it line art. Boom. Done. All right. I have my flat layer underneath it. The reason I have it as a reference is if I want to drag and drop colors within it, it'll stay within the framework of my line layer. If you don't understand that, there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube. And yeah, so after that, my flat color layer, I would have a highlight layer and shadows. But that's enough of that. Let's see what these brushes do. So I have my modified and updated main inker here. So the other one I had before was kind of a flat, rounded inker. My old inker just had like a solid line. There was really no variation to it. And if you wanted to get like a nice tapered end, you'd kind of have to erase away parts just to kind of get that nice little taper and sharp tip to it. So now I got rid of that headache and just made a nice little tapered line. And it allows me to kind of get these nice little lines like how it did for the armpit here. It's no, extra work needed. You can get a lot of little detail work here, arm hairs if you want it, just make the brush really small. And paint away, make it little hairs. If you wanted to, you can go into the settings of the brush itself and like increase the jitter. And just make these little arm hairs. Oops. Well, you get the idea. You can use it and have quite a variety with that particular brush. So let me just reset this thing back to the default. Boom. Okay. But yeah, so this is my modified main inker now. And again, you can use it for your sketching if you want it to. It's not just limited just to inking. If you were going to use it for sketching, go into your settings. You simply click on the brush itself, and under stroke path, you lower the streamline, and it allows you to just draw away without making any adjustments to your line itself. It's not correcting any mistakes you might make. If you want to go back to your inking, I suggest going back into it and increasing that streamline to the max. And it just kind of helps your line, it assists the line so it's a lot cleaner. Alright, so that's what that particular brush is and what it's used for. Next I have my white gel pen. Notice my background is this nice little paper background. I'll probably include that too. My background is more traditional art, so I'm used to like pens, markers, and pencils and stuff. And the final thing I would normally do in my drawings is kind of add like highlights with the gel pen. So I kind of wanted to do that, so let me change this color to white. And how that works is basically with pen pressure. If I'm pressing hard, just how you would with a gel pen, like if you move the pencil left to right, it won't really make too much of a difference, although it is slightly less opaque when you do that. But pressing hard will make the line thinner, and then releasing the pen pressure will make it thicker. Same way how your ink would flow out of a pen. So the more time you spend, the longer you spend in an area, the ink normally would be thicker, and then the faster you would move, you'd get thinner lines. So I kind of wanted to keep that same idea when it came to inking. So with this particular pen. So that works for pressure though. So you're going to be pressing lightly to have a thicker line, increase the pressure to make a thinner line, and release it to make a thicker line. But yeah, you can use this for highlights. Get pretty creative with it, but that's like how that particular pen functions. Again, it's meant to mimic how an actual gel pen would kind of work. I have this particular brush. I would, by the way, I would kind of leave these settings how they are by default. I wouldn't really tinker with those too much. Next is the shape outline. It's kind of self-explanatory. I use this for outlining. So for something like this, again, kind of looks like a traditional background with paper. I would use this on a layer below my art, actually. That's why I have that there. And it doesn't matter how hard I press or fast I move, it's going to stay that same, the same width. So I use that literally, I'm kind of using my line art as a guide and just drawing right next to it as close as I can. And I'm gonna kind of create a border with it, and it makes your artwork pop. You'll see this in a lot of artwork like on Instagram and Pinterest and stuff. But also, if you wanted to make stickers out of your artwork, this is a really good way to go. If you want to use sites like Society6 or Zazzle, I've reviewed those in the past. And they print on dark garments, so I can keep the same artwork just how it is, but by adding this white border to it, I can still maintain the exact look, but because now it has a white framing, if I were to print on a darker garment, it would pop and I wouldn't lose this the black line artwork. So yeah, take your time with this. Obviously, I know this isn't the most exciting thing to see, but I kind of want to show you how I would actually use this thing. So I'm just going to speed up this process a little bit here. Not going to be as accurate, but it's okay. Boom, boom, boom. And if you decide that you want your lines to be thicker, because you don't like how thin it is, or if you actually want it thinner, to adjust this particular brush, I'll show you in 1 second here, and we are done. But yeah, just like that, it kind of makes my art pop out. But if you want to adjust the size of that brush, you go into the settings, and under properties, you're going to adjust the maximum size and the minimum size, but you're always going to keep those the same. So it won't change the size of it. So if I want to make the maximum 34, I'll make the minimum 34. And you can't make the minimum larger than the maximum, obviously. If I let go, will drop down, and vice versa. I can't make my maximum smaller than my minimum. But anyway, so when I just made that larger, so now I can paint with a larger brush, and vice versa. If I want to make it smaller, go back into the settings, make the minimum, let's say like 6. I make the maximum 6. And now when I brush, it's going to be a smaller line. But it's just a nice way to kind of make your artwork pop out from the background again. So I would use that like for this eyebrow or something. I actually would probably paint in this whole area, honestly. So keep it like that or something. So yeah, if I was going to print this as a sticker, it just makes it pop out. Or if I want to print it on a dark garment, it makes it pop out. So I'm going to just reset these settings. Boom. Done. Next up is this gritty brush here. And it kind of, again, self-explanatory there. I can use this on the fabric of clothing if I wanted to. Let me just clear this out here. I'm gonna drop this right above my flat color layer. So if I wanted to add like a little texture to my clothes, I would probably keep this color like black and paint over an area. This is light pen pressure. If I press hard, it's gonna be a little darker. Not by much though. And then once I'm satisfied, I would lower the opacity of that layer, so it's just visible enough. It looks like he has like a dirty shirt or something, but it kind of gives it a nice little texture to your drawing. Or if you don't want it on the character itself, it's not too bad where you or too distracting, I should say, where you can't use it as a background fill. So I can also use this to kind of paint my background. And bring up the opacity on this, clear that out real fast. So just kind of brushing over once, and this kind of gives it this weird gritty look to it. But yeah, that's how I would use that particular brush to kind of add texture to either my background or my character, or you can, use it for both if you want it to. So with this other layer, I'm gonna bring that above my color layer, my flat colors, kind of paint on his head a little bit. And I can lower the brush size. Just kind of give it some little grit. Lower the opacity. Boom. So now it's there. It's there, but it's not super distracting. And then this other brush here is a scale brush. It's meant to look like fish scales, or you can use it for like almost halftones. Honestly, if you lower the size of it enough, it'll work that way. So I'm gonna make a new layer, put it above my color layer again. And it's good to label everything so you don't get lost. So this brush is similar to the monoline, so it doesn't matter what my brush size is on here, where I see where I'm adjusting the size on the left. It will not affect the actual image itself. All that does is affect the radius that the pattern is being placed on the image itself. So again, see, this is with the small radius and a large radius, but it's not affecting the image at all. So if you want to adjust the actual size of the fishnet look, you go into the grain. So remember, the other one was under the properties. This one is going to be under grain, and you're just going to slide the scale. That's all you're going to change. It's just the scale, nothing else. So I'm going to lower the scale to maybe like 11. Let's see how that looks. So now I'm going to give them like a fishnet shirt. Again, I can adjust the radius of this. It won't affect the actual size of the pattern. So now he has like a little fishnet looking shirt. Big old gut. Alright, let's kind of erase away. Not great, but you get the idea. So I'll probably lower the opacity on this so it kind of blends in a little more. Something like that. Okay. So those are the main brushes that are with this pack. You can kind of create like armor. You can create, you know, whatever. Just you're only limited to your imagination there. Make that a little smaller. And again, just playing around with the size of the scale, you can get little gradients from it. Anyway, guys, hopefully that was kind of informative and somewhat useful. But yeah, again, these are free brushes for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy. I wanted to say happy holidays to everyone out there. I know it's insane right now. There's so much craziness going on in the world. I want to give something free to you guys to kind of lighten the spirits a little bit. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss out on a new video, and be sure to tag me. I want to see what art you make with this stuff. It's fun to make. These were kind of fun to create. Took a little time with this little scale. I'm not 100% satisfied with it, honestly, but you know what? It doesn't look bad. Anyways, with that being said, I'll talk to you soon. Be safe out there.